Hello, welcome, Shireen. So we'll start in about 3 to 5 minutes. We'll give people a little bit more space to come, a little more time to come over. Just FYI, this will be recorded, so if you don't want to, it'll be pretty much my screen, the presentation and my voice. So just FYI with everybody. That way, everyone can know about AmeriCorps if they didn't attend. So that way, you'll have access. All right, so while we wait, do y'all hear feedback at all?
I think Boston needs to mute himself.
How about now? Is better? Cool. Well, welcome. I appreciate Boston, Rebecca, and Shireen. Your time to be here. This should take at most an hour, and if not, we'll definitely wrap up earlier than then. So this is the AmeriCorps 101, and so before we begin, I would love to get to know, or at least hear from both Boston and Shireen. Um, if you can just introduce yourself, your role within the community organization, the name of your community organization, and then I would love to hear what interests you of AmeriCorps. Like, why are you on this as well? And then on the chat. Oh, thank you. I just barely noticed that. And it looks like we also have Patrick and then Roni. So, um, yeah, if all of you that can just share, your who you are, what's your role in the organization, what organization you're working with, and then why you are here as well. And if your audio doesn't work, Shireen, you're welcome to just type in the comments. I can read it for you, so no worries there. Um, I'll start with myself, and then we'll go Rebecca, um, Boston, Patrick, Roni, and Shireen, if that's okay. So my name is Cristobal Villegas, pronouns he, they. I'm with the AmeriCorps, campus coordinator for AmeriCorps at SLIC, as well as Civically Engaged Scholars Coordinator. I've been here at SLIC for about 2 years, working into my third. Excited, pumped, kind of stressed a little bit of the semester starting. I can't believe it's already here. And why I'm here is because I want to share information with everybody. So there we go. So Rebecca, then Boston, then Patrick, and then it looks like we have another call-in user. Um, so anyway, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. It's Rebecca Van Marion. I use she, her pronouns. And I am the Community Partnerships Coordinator in the Thane Center. So I'm the one that sends you the most emails out of anyone in our office. But excited to be here to help support Cristobal and help to provide any additional support and clarification that I can.
All right, hi, I'm Boston. I'm the college coordinator for Special Olympics Utah. So I kind of just coordinate with all the universities within the state and kind of get them with our programming. And we just recently updated it, so that's kind of why we're getting into it. And we're interested in AmeriCorps because most of the other universities we are in have an AmeriCorps student leader, and so we know that that's a good way of doing it. So hopefully we can keep doing it. Slick.
Patrick, if you don't mind going. Looks like they probably won't be able to speak. We have another person on the phone. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, this is Shereen. I actually joined on the phone in addition to the computer. This way I can talk.
Cool.
So I'm Shereen, the Marketing and Training Director for the English Skills Learning Center. I know we've used the help of a lot of folks from AmeriCorps before, and I'm just here to learn more personally about the program and what you have to offer.
Great. Thank you so very much. Sure, you say Shireen, right? Welcome.
I've never been to the gym in a day in my life. I honestly just want to get a chance. A great first day, and we're actually
Roni?
for him, so hopefully something else happens with us.
Roni?
Alright guys, I hate come true. Can I go on my date with me?
Yeah, sure.
Are you there? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Mackenzie, pick a man you see a future with. I'm thinking it's like futuristic.
Futuristic.
So let's go. Let's do this.
All right. Well, I'm gonna mute them for right now, and then hopefully they can come on and introduce themselves in a little bit. And I think Patrick's the last one. Patrick, are you here still? All right. Well, okay. Well, thank you so much for everyone for attending. We're gonna start promptly then. I'm just gonna write here on the chat. Hopefully, Ronnie can see. Let me just type this quickly. All right. And that should help us in case Ronnie is able to come back in. So thank you everyone for sharing about their interest of AmeriCorps and why. I agree. It's a really great program for everyone, for community organizations to obtain assistance within their programming, in different shapes and forms. I really am happy that I've been able to understand more and more as AmeriCorps, because from my perspective, I haven't had the opportunity to serve with AmeriCorps, but learning from the great students, learning from other community organizations, as well as some of my coworkers, I've been able to learn more about how AmeriCorps really is a central program in helping other people and other organizations. Oh, and no, and don't worry, Ronnie, it is fine. Um, if you need to speak, you can just type in the chat box, and I'd be happy to read it out loud. So no worries. Thank you. So we will begin. So with first, what is AmeriCorps? AmeriCorps is a federal program that allows students to go into the community and gain some experience, get some great networking done, learn really great professional skills, and also the community organizations that host a student, they're able to receive service at no monetary cost for the community organization. So that's a really great way to have volunteers come to your organization, but also not just be very like temporary, like once in a blue moon kind of volunteer, but a more long-term volunteer that is willing to put in the work and the time to not only see projects come to fruition, but also to build that mentoring, that professional relationship with yourself or and with your organization. So it really is a great opportunity for people who are eligible to go and join AmeriCorps. Now, I'm going to share some information that pertains to those applying to be involved with AmeriCorps. And all this will be typed up as well as sent to you in an email. So, if you're writing down notes and you missed something I said, don't worry. I'll make sure I follow up with an email as well, encapsulating what we're talking about. But as I was saying, people who are eligible to serve an AmeriCorps opportunity are those who are 18 years of age or older, who are able to pass a federal background check, and are either a permanent resident, a U.S. citizen, or some other qualifying status, such as a person who obtained asylum or refuge in the United States. So there's many great. The net is wide when it comes to having people apply to serve in the AmeriCorps, but not everybody is eligible to join AmeriCorps. There's also no cap in the how many years a person may have, so they can go, quite a bit, pretty high in terms of how many years they have when they want to serve AmeriCorps. For SLIC, however, they must be a student, either currently or just within the year of studying at SLIC. So that's one like extra requirement we have within the Thanes Center. Now, AmeriCorps again is really here. The Think Center is really purposed to help you all as community organizations find students and have these students serve with you, as well as give them that opportunity to learn from you all. And please, if anyone has questions, you're welcome to just put it in the chat box. If I miss it, I'll make sure I see it though. And then if you want to interrupt, either just chime on in, you are welcome to. So please do not worry about interrupting. If you have a specific question, just ask. Okay. So next, I do want to highlight this part though. What is UHEAN? You will probably hear me say quite a bit about UHEAN. UHEAN is the Utah Higher Education AmeriCorps Network, and it looks like we have someone who has joined us. It looks like it says volunteers. Who is this?
Tammy from Lee Havery Clinic.
Tammy, welcome.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, we just barely started, so you have not missed anything. And then also just to let you know, I'll be following up with an email with everything that we're talking about, as well as a link to this 101 as well. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So, UHEAN is let's say like the parent organization when it comes to AmeriCorps at SLIC. So I report to them and coordinate with them to see how a student's onboarding and exiting process is going, assuring that we have all the documentation from our community partners in, assuring that we have everything aligned. They are the organization, the entity that helps me coordinate all of this. One thing is important to note: UHEAN does place a lot of burden on the student to get lots of these things done. So that's why, as a coordinator, in terms of AmeriCorps, I'm here and trying to facilitate it and make the process a little bit easier. So my role again is to facilitate the student joining your organization. So that's how this relationship between myself as an employee of SLIC, but I still report to UHEAN at the state, and they're actually based at USU. So there's even distance between my interaction and their interaction. And like I said, if anyone has questions, please, you're welcome to interrupt or put in the chat box. Oh, I did want to show you the, let's see. Oops. I did want to show you all this, which is just the website. So the websites are really great. It's becoming a really great tool for students and for community partners. More and more, I'm referring to people to the website because it's becoming a great hub of all the tools and documents that are needed. Here, you can tell where I kind of just copy and pasted on the slides, but it will tell you more about what is AmeriCorps. Just the different differentiation between these things. And so I'll be referring to this website quite a bit during the session. So definitely become familiar. The best way to go is to just put in UHEAN.org. UHEAN. So it's a really nifty website. It's becoming better and better as every year passes. So I'm just going to return back to here. So now you're saying, okay, well, cool. So I want to get a student, but like I don't know where to put them. Oh, thank you so much, Rebecca. She put the link inside the chat box, so I appreciate it. So many people may ask, like, hey, how do I get an AmeriCorps? But like also like how can I fit them into my organization? What's the best place for them? Well, it's important to note that students that volunteer with your organization through the AmeriCorps program cannot replace anybody you already replace like a position you have in your organization. AmeriCorps is meant to add capacity, not replace, a person. So if you're downsizing or something of that nature, AmeriCorps is not meant to, just go and replace an existing or an empty position, but rather it's there to be an opportunity for a student to add value to your organization. Maybe grow in an area you haven't focused yet. Maybe create new systems of volunteer structures and things like that, of an opportunity for a student to really grow in an area that you haven't given much attention, but it doesn't like replace a person's job. So AmeriCorps is meant to add value and not how you say it quid pro not quid pro quo via v put in something and take away something. So the areas that AmeriCorps has within the Thames Center are these three: Education 1, Education 2, and Capacity Building. We have opportunities in all these three areas, and so how AmeriCorps defines these different focus areas are the following. For Education 1, it is tutoring and other education programs for K through 12 students. Education 2 focus area is college access and success programs for K through 16. And capacity building is leveraging community assets through partnerships with nonprofit organizations and student service centers on a college or university campus. Now, what does this mean to you all? Well, often I'm going to give you an example. I often have an organization saying like, "Hey, I need students to come and help me intake people as they come into my organization." And so that, in itself is a need of the community organization, and it's very important to make sure we address that need. However, in AmeriCorps speak, with the student or the opportunity needs to do more in the sense of connecting, the services that is offered at that organization and connecting it with some other maybe initiatives like recruitment of students, allowing the student to create a volunteer structure, um, allowing the student to take place of maybe forming trainings or something that can add more value to organization. So I guess a quick no would be like if an organization just asks, "Hey, I need someone to look at to be at the front desk and just be there." Unfortunately, AmeriCorps is not meant to do that. And if we can find a student that can be there, and that's great. But through the AmeriCorps program, it is not a functioning opportunity. However, if we made that, receptionist, we'll put that in air quotes, receptionist opportunity, but we mixed it in with some opportunity for a student to, like I said, develop maybe a intake for volunteers, manage existing volunteers, create trainings and maybe onboarding or some sort of that nature where it builds capacity in your organization, that is acceptable. So it's about not only focusing on the need, but allowing what the opportunity can become for the student. Now, another area of this is regarding education and education 1 and education 2. Education 1 is used mainly for elementary, junior high, high schools where people need college students to go and help them out and read to them, allowing them to, maybe in math and in reading and English, some sort of need that the K through 12 student has. Education 2, however, is more of that college access point of view. So if we're leveraging, slick students to go to a high school, but to help people pump the students to come to a community college, or allow them to receive some sort of college area of improvement, then that's where education 2 will come through. The most useful, the most a program that I've seen education 2 has been peer to peer. So maybe if some college students need to recruit other college students, or allow them to understand the need for college, that's another area. So where does this go for you all as community organizations, is helping you all understand which focus area is the best for you. I don't know if there are any questions so far. It could be something specific to your organization, or it could be something in general. But if you don't, I'll continue. But if you're having a situation kind of determining which focus area is best for you, usually the capacity building focus area is the most malleable, in the sense of giving you the most flexibility to satisfy your need, but also allow that opportunity for a student to learn. All right. I see two people at least on the screen. So thumbs up if that's cool. Y'all good? Boston and Patrick? Okay, great. Thank you so much. So now people may ask, why do students do this? Well, first of all, AmeriCorps is a very well known program across the United States when it comes to volunteering and civic engagement, in the sense of giving back to their community. Now, the education award is attached to their service. So this is a partially compensated program when it comes to giving service. Although not a lot, it does give the student the ability to earn a certain quantity. And for this year, I mainly have 300-hour terms available for students. So this 300-hour term needs to be done within one full calendar year. Once a student is able to complete this, they're able to receive this quantity at the end of their service, which then they have to use it only for education purposes. So it's not like they get a cash, a cash amount at the end with some hundreds and twenties, but rather it stays on there in like a federal account for AmeriCorps, and it stays there for up to 7 years. The student can utilize when it comes to their education, that being tuition, that being books. But it does depend on the college they're attending and like the areas they can put that money toward. Pretty much any public university is able to accept education award money from AmeriCorps. So in when you're maybe presenting this to a student, or you have a really good volunteer and they go to Slick, you can say, hey, if you want to do this full time or more time with us and be more permanent, you can do AmeriCorps, and you get to earn, a small stipend at the end of your service. So they get something out of it as well. They can put on their resume, and they get that extra financial assistance. So that's a really great way to retain volunteers, very great way to recruit volunteers, because you're telling them what they can get on top of the professional skills or networking, etc. All right, any questions so far? I'm looking at the chat, nothing there. Everyone good on the phone lines? Because I'm not able to see you all, so you all aren't able to chat probably, so I just want to make sure. Cool. So many community organizations do have an issue with this part, which is the necessary documents. So I am going to first click on this. and talk about the qualified side contract. So this is something that's going to be changing soon, which I'm really happy for. But as of right now, every year, starting August 15th, so just a few days ago, 8 days ago, every organization that wants to host AmeriCorps needs to have a qualified site contract on file. Unfortunately, this is an annual process and it does get really tiresome for some organizations. Uhean, though, they're working on trying to have a 5-year contract. So in that way, we don't have to do it again and again and again. That is something I cannot control. So I do apologize that if you have done this in the past, we just can't reuse it. We have to send a new one. So again, this is in the uhean.org site, and you can see all these ones. Now, if you fill out a qualified site contract, let's say the you don't have to do one for me because it's already on file for the state. Because again, your contract isn't with me, is with Uhean. So that's kind of, I know it gets kind of confusing, but so for this year, as you can tell, we don't have many for the state, but we will start having more as time goes on and more people sign up. But these are the ones, we have Best Friends Animal Society, right, Patrick? Yeah, so they're on file. So let's say, somebody wants to go from the you no longer need to do a qualified side contract because again, it's not for me, it's for the state. So that is something that they've clarified recently. So you don't have to do one, and right now you do have to do one every year. But soon, hopefully, they'll be able to get a longer term qualified side contract. So that's very exciting. Any questions so far from anybody? Oh yes, Patrick.
Hi, Crystal.
Hey.
I was just wondering if we had a new student, a new AmeriCorps student starting. I know we did our last site contract, I guess, in November. If their term was going to go past that, would we need the new site contract at the beginning of the new student's term or just renew it in November?
Correct. You will need to renew it in November. Yeah, so that's what's really great. If you have someone sign up on July 1st of of this year, well, that stays on your 1920 contract, and you don't need to do anything until you recruit someone in the 2021 year.
Oh, so even if their term was going to go past the site contract, we wouldn't necessarily need a new one.
No, yeah. But again, what's really cool is that we're all trying, Uhean is trying to, so Uhean is new. It came from Campus Compact. So it's a very, it's still gears are grinding and gears are trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out half the time how I do things. And so, but what's really great is that we're trying to use this list now to tell students like, hey, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to go get the qualified site contract from your community partner because if you go on this list, you can go and sign up quickly. So it's a really great way for other schools to have sent students to already to community partners that already have a qualified site contract on file. So that's what's really cool about it. So like, if you see your name on here or something, you can go and email, I would say the University of Utah, us, Weber, and say, hey, if you have an AmeriCorps program, we're already a qualified site contract. Send students our way. We've already done that hard part, So it makes things easier. So Uhean is really trying to find the way to empower you as community partners and empower the students because they are finding that us as community coordinators, as campus coordinators, we do this, but we also have other responsibilities on top of it. So it's really hard to, see how we can serve everybody. So we're trying to give the tools so students and community organizations can start working independently to get things started ahead of hand. So thank you for that question. And so then next we do have something called a position description. In the past, I've sent out a PDF form, and it's been kind of confusing for some folks that I have received their feedback. So this year, I'm developing this Google form that as long as you fill in the different prompts, you'll create your position description. And in that way, it's a little bit easier. You don't have to go through the PDF and Adobe Acrobat and whatever. It's all one place. It's online, and then that way we can figure it out. As well, in this position description, you'll be able to upload your documents like the qualified site contract and other documents that you may need, like the ADA checklist that's also needed. So this form will be a little bit easier to keep everything grouped together under your name. So just want to let you know about that. And so that should be coming next week as I finish up this week. So enrollment, the thing that it's kind of difficult. So I'm gonna explain to you my side of enrollment, and so then that way we all can have a better picture of this. So when a student wants to join AmeriCorps, I first sit down with them and talk about what AmeriCorps is, their commitment to it. Maybe they have other things they want to do, and I want to make sure they understand that AmeriCorps is a commitment. On top of that, I explained to them that we need to figure out what's the best place for them to, what are the interests, and then we try to connect them to you all. Now, the easiest way is that if a community partner already has a qualified site contract, it's easy for me to send students, like, hey, this organization already did this stuff. You can just go and talk to them and figure it out. It's a little bit more difficult when a community partner doesn't really know what AmeriCorps is yet, but it's an opportunity they can still take advantage of. And so that's another thing, so we do try to connect the students that way, more a cold contact, you can say. But so, let's say we were able to talk with the community organization, the student, and everything is like A-OK on both sides. That usually takes about 2 weeks to really get, nailed down. Then after that, the students got to take an online video and quiz in order to signify that they're starting enrollment. The student has to hurry within 2 weeks' time to fill out any documents online, provide fingerprints, obtain necessary documentation, and then meet with me at the end to tie up everything within enrollment. So in the larger view of this, it's about a month that it takes to enroll a student. My goal is this semester to start trying to enroll students at the beginning of the semester. So right now we are able to enroll students every 1st and 15th of every month. However, as a coordinator, it is a little bit more difficult trying to keep people, within those timeframes twice a month. So what I'm developing along with my coworkers is a time frame within every beginning of the semester in order to have like an enrollment period. And that way we can make sure we're trying to enroll as many students as possible and send them your way. So then that way it creates a more limited amount of time, but more focused effort. And so hopefully this will allow all of us, including community partners, to have more students heading your way. And so the enrollment, like I was saying, is really an opportunity for the students to get all the paperwork in, for me to contact you all, for relationships to begin to build, and it takes about a month to get all that finished. But the biggest thing that I've heard from fellow community organizations is recruitment. How do we do this? What's the best way? Well, we'll love some input right here. So please, if you can give me some input, that'll be great. So first, I'm gonna tell you what I can do. Then from my perspective, and then I would love to hear what you all probably do. And then at the end, I have a few more suggestions of what we can do together. So this should take about a few minutes in order to get this done. All right. So what I can do. So as an AmeriCorps coordinator, as a Thane Center staff member, what I can do is to make sure that I reach out to you earlier than when the semester starts, to make sure that you all are looking for AmeriCorps students to kind of get that started. This year, as we know, 2020 has been a year, so I haven't been able to really get a hold of that. But in a beautiful year, in a 2021 year, we would have these conversations, in the middle of semester when we knew what we were doing in order to make sure that by, September, end of August, we're able to start publicizing here at Slick, in our newsletters, in our social media, that, hey, Best Friends is looking for 3 AmeriCorps positions in these areas. For Malihe Free Clinic, they're looking for this one. This is how many hours they have. we will have all of that straightened out. So that's one thing that I can do. Another thing is to continue to develop, to continue to help you all come on campus, like or we used to come on campus, but now we're having like the virtual mega fairs, which allows community organizations to get in contact with the student body. We will be talking about the impact that coronavirus has had in AmeriCorps at the end. So just FYI, I'm not leaving it out. It's just that it's better to go through this in a usual format and then add all the extenuating circumstances. But those are the few things we can do. So on campus publicizing, social media, making sure the students know and can go to the UHEAN webpage and see which partners are already qualified to host people and get them onboarded quickly. So I would love to hear from you all. Maybe 2-3 minutes, seeing what are some cool recruitment tactics you've done, or maybe if you thought of some new ones, and then we'll go into what we can do as a partnership.
So at least for Special Olympics, how it's run at the other universities we're involved in is the campus coordinator, so like Nelda or Teresa, has kind of found the students through whatever their recruitment process is for like their service center leadership teams. And then they fill out everything through them. So I'm just thinking what we could do is we're happy to post a job, like a position description on like our LinkedIn or on our internship website and on our website to maybe get more recruits that way. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, I love that. That LinkedIn, definitely. I've seen a few other community organizations do that as well. Have you filled out a qualified site contract for this year through them yet?
No, did not know that was needed, so I'm going to fill that out.
Oh, cool.
Today.
Yeah, so yeah. So if you do it like for them in a way, because you'll do it for your HEAN, then you just gotta let me know, and that way you don't have to duplicate that as well.
Okay.
Patrick?
Yeah, I guess we just recently started being able to start recruiting again. We've been relying on our existing volunteers for the past 4 months. Yeah, we have our own internal website where we could post AmeriCorps information, but again, that would only reach our existing folks. Yeah, I just need to get back into the recruiting mindset.
No, thank you. Any other person, maybe an idea they had or something they've done in the past? I know for Malihe, we've done like many of the health service area minded students. We were able to send them like an email, saying, hey, if you're looking for experience in the healthcare field, Malihe Free Clinic is looking for a person in this area with this capacity. So sometimes we can centralize on like someone that's studying something specific, and we can go and blast an email in that area. So that's something we've done in the past too. Another idea that we have is that if you all have like those long-term volunteers, and they go to SLIC or any other university, you can talk to them about AmeriCorps as well. Have them like, hey, you've been volunteering here for a little while. We'd love for you to get something out of it, but also it benefits you because it's a little bit more structured. It's a little bit more people are on the student and on their radar, so they can help you in case they fall through or something. So that's another benefit. So really, recruitment. Let's see. Rebecca's wrote. Yes, it can. So Rebecca wrote, can the community partner also post these opportunities with career services, SLIC's career services, under their internship listings? Yes, they can now. We were able to talk with them in order for them to just put like a little asterisk saying that they're AmeriCorps internships. Because remember, not all students can apply for AmeriCorps internships. So that's why we make a little distinction. But yes, Rebecca, they can now. So when we fill out that Google form and make that position description, I will then forward it to the career services so they can put it in their area as well and maximize that outreach. Thank you so much. Any last comments or thoughts from anybody on here? All right. So lastly, but not at the least for sure, is AmeriCorps and COVID-19. Well, let's just say that this definitely threw a curveball in many things. Um, and first of all, I appreciate lots of your patience. If you've been interacting with me with the past few months, it's been kind of tricky in understanding what's needed, what's not needed. So students are usually required to do something called it's called a oh my gosh, it just escaped me. It's called the I think it's called like I haven't said, but it's one of their projects that they have to do during their AmeriCorps term. They have to at least get 5 people to come together and help in a service project. Now that is actually able to be waived because of a mobilization project. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I guess I've been speaking a lot. I kind of forgot. So the mobilization project can now be waived. Doesn't mean the student has to, because they can do it. But in order to at least allow room for physical distance engagement, that can now be done. It could be waived. But also, many people will have to serve online in case things grow a little bit more dicey once again. So, where does this put yourself as a community partner? Well, part of this is that we understand. We want to make sure you get your needs addressed, but we also want to make sure everyone is kept safe. So, something we're asking all community partners is to have a backup plan in case, in case it's all what you do is in person. We do ask every position to have a backup online, virtual, at home, whatever you want to call it, opportunity to still do their hours. Um, if a situation really does get dire, we can exit with the ward with good standing. And those are only extenuating circumstances. So if a student gets sick, and hopefully that doesn't happen, but maybe with coronavirus or something, or maybe the organization is going through a hardship as well. There's extenuating circumstances, and AmeriCorps again is there to provide access, not create more liability. So I do want you all to understand that we are here, UHEAN is here to make sure that we continue to work together through these very uncertain times. Um, but nonetheless, we have made different accommodations. So, one of those accommodations we want for the students is to at least have a backup plan in case they're not able to physically go and serve in whatever capacity they have done before. Any thoughts or questions about this at all? One cool thing, and this was part with you more, Patrick, with your AmeriCorps student. What was really nice is that during the higher part of like the lockdown, students were able to do other activities besides their activities in their position description. So some students, did grocery delivery, did some other form of like supporting different efforts in the community, and that were all granted to be AmeriCorps opportunities. Because again, we're a federal program, so we make sure we listen to the state when it comes to a state of emergencies. So let's say, when that earthquake hit, it was a little bit more devastating. Then they would release an email to all AmeriCorps individuals, say, hey, please suspend your actions and go help in the community. So that's kind of what's kind of cool, about AmeriCorps. The more students we have in AmeriCorps, the more, in case an emergency happens, they can, go and still be compensated in a way for those hours, but still help out the community in case of an emergency. So those are the kind of cool things that are out there, especially now. So I do, if you haven't thought of any, at home or virtual service opportunities for students, you and I can sit down, we can talk, and we can brainstorm of different ways that we can come up for the student to serve. Well, it's 1:45. It's about 15 minutes left. We don't have to go to 2, but I want to make sure I give an opportunity for anybody to raise a comment, maybe something specific to your organization, maybe something that I can do better, or feedback. Please let me know. I'm open to hear right now. Thank you, Rebecca. So while you all gather your thoughts, Rebecca has all these questions. All right. So can your AmeriCorps student help with fundraising? The answer is no. In more straight terms. However, in creating maybe like a plan, a strategy, or coordinating volunteers at an event that you fundraise or something like that, that is fine. But the student themselves cannot go and ask for money. That's what we mean about fundraising. So if you need help at a fundraising event, either virtual, but the student needs to go and coordinate efforts, talk to people, organize something, that's all fine. But if the student goes and the student cannot just go and ask for money from somebody. So that's what we mean if the student cannot fundraise, but they can help in, again, the strategizing part of of your efforts. So how does AmeriCorps work with work study? So work study is a federal program that allows students to be compensated through financial aid. Now, students in work study most often are able to add AmeriCorps on top of that, so they are able to stack it. What does that mean for you as a community organization? It just means that you have more paperwork, but the student receives more benefit, which is even better, which is great. It doesn't cost you extra. And let's say the financial aid, the work study money for the student runs out, but the student still has hours left in their AmeriCorps term. That means their retention with you, it's going to be there still. So it's a great backup plan in case funds run out for a student. Um, Most of the time, um, students that are in a work study position do qualify for the same thing for AmeriCorps. But again, if the position is for them to just sit at the front desk, then AmeriCorps will not be able to be applicable unless we switch a little bit of the responsibilities. So again, it does stack upon that, but it's just more about having the student take charge or leave an effort of having to build capacity and whatnot in your organization. The next question from Patrick is, are donation drives allowed for students? Would you mind defining what a donation drive is, Patrick? So are you still silent? I'll go ahead.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, we had been toying with an idea for a project of having someone kind of go out to local stores for our pet food bank, since we support a lot of people who are being impacted by the financial downturn lately. So like we've started a sort of pet food delivery project where we're driving dog and cat food out to people who aren't able to come into our pet food pantry, and we're running really low on food. So would since they can't help with fundraising, would you like a donation drive like that to have people donate pet food or to put bins out at stores and stuff like that? Is that allowed for AmeriCorps volunteers?
Yeah, thank you for that great question. So I'm going to restate it just to make sure I get it right. What you're saying is if a student can help in the effort in outreaching to the community to obtain resources for your organization. Yeah. So it's how we word it, which is kind of what I want to emphasize as well. So how we word things in the AmeriCorps is how we can get any like, oh, I'm not sure, out of the way and just describe what we're doing. So the student is out there organizing and developing a strategy to obtain resources, tangible, not monetary, but tangible resources that can help your organization. That is fine. So but now, if you're having the student to go and ask people, again, knocking on doors, asking for food and stuff like that for the the animals in your care, then that will not be fine because they're more doing of like they're soliciting directly into the resources. But it's how we word it and also how we kind of implement it that really does matter. Because at the end of the day, again, it's more about the student learning the skills, learning and not just being another thing that we can go and get other people donate. It's not only that. So does that answer your question? Cool. Well, no more questions from Rebecca. Any questions, Boston? Let's see. I got Shireen and what was the other? Oh, that's it. Boston or Shireen? No. Okay, cool. All right. So, like I said again, if you're working, what are the next steps if not on the UHEAN list? Do you mean the qualified site contract list? Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna reiterate then. I'm gonna be sending out an email with the qualified list, qualified site contract in the email. A link to the form to fill out the position description. In the form, you can put in you can scan in the or upload the qualified site contract. She did ask all the good questions. You can upload a qualified site contract, and then we can go from there. I am going to put another upload, which is like any graphics you want me to include. Sometimes I find it hard when I make graphics for like social media to find a good logo. So on there, I'm gonna allow you to put a logo up there as well. And also soon we're gonna have our student platform engagement platform. It's gonna be called Campus Groups. It's kind of like the Facebook for students at Slick. That's gonna be out soon. So, and I'm sure Rebecca will let you all know about that another time. But we'll also be using that, and that's going to be another great way to engage with more students. So, I appreciate your time. Please email me if you have questions. If you call me, leave a voicemail. If I don't answer, call me again. And that's pretty much it. Y'all have a great time and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thanks, Cristobal.
Yep, of course. Take care. Of course. Bye.